Hi, my name is Mark Felderman, and today I would like to teach you how to string a racket. The first step in stringing a racket is preparing the racket. We have to cut the old strings off. Alright, we're going to take the dampener off. We're going to do that just by cutting these strings. Now, why do you need to change strings anyway? That's a question that often gets brought up. Well, the strings need to be replaced, obviously, if the strings get broken. That's the fairly obvious one. Or if they're just worn out. Or if it's been, a year or two since you had them replaced before, they probably need to be restrung. And sometimes, like in this case, you just want some different strings. As we finish this up and getting the end of these done, it's always the one with the knot that's always hard at the end. See, these two have knots. There you go. There, now we're ready to go. And you can see here's the pile of string that's been cut, and we'll just throw that away. The next step is to decide what kind of string are we going to use. So if you look down here, almost every brand of tennis racket also makes string plus a bunch of others. I like Head brand tennis rackets and tennis string. I have a lot of different Head brand. But here's Babolat, and Babolat makes excellent string, but it's kind of expensive string. And then this is a new brand that I'm going to try, Signum Pro. That's a brand new brand that I haven't ever used before. And then Ignis is a kind of a off brand that you don't hear a lot about. The Perfect Spin is a really good brand. And then this one right here is Kevlar. Yeah, Kevlar, you know, like what they make bulletproof vests out of. And actually this is what we're going to use today. We got to mount this onto the machine, and there's three basic different kinds of machines, and this one is kind of the middle one. There's a very expensive electronic one, and then there's the one that like I used to have, which was the one based on weights. This one, you put it on, you put it in the middle there, and you put it in the middle here. And then you pull it out, tighten it up. Make sure they're both tight, and then you use these to make sure they're good and tight. And you tighten each of these four in. So it will hold in place really well. But if you look on here on the throat of rackets, they usually say how much pressure you can put on those strings, and it says 57 pounds of pressure, give or take 5 pounds. You're okay. If you string it looser than that, it will make it more powerful. It's more like a trampoline. Whereas if you string it tighter than that, it makes it more control and less power. You have to determine which end is the end that is the center. And since on this end there are 4, the center is on this end. If there were 3, the center would be on the bottom. Here, that way. We do the same on the other side to start this all out. And then we have to measure it out, because one side has to be at 10 feet. The other side will be at 30, just by simple math. So there's 1, there's 2 yards, there's 3 yards, 9 feet, plus another foot there. So this is our short side, and this is our long side. In here, and we have 53 pounds of pressure on each of these. Okay, that's locked. And let that go forward. And now we simply got to go back through and do this again. Here we go, like this, up to this one, and pull it through. As you can see, we've done several different ones here now already, several strings. And there we go. And change this one up. And each time we repeat this process. These strings that go up and down on the racket are called the mains. And usually there are about 16 mains, and then the ones that go the other way are called crosses. Now that we've got all the mains done, we're going to go to the crosses. And if you look down here, you see that we're on this side, and here's the first one that's a cross. So we're going to come through here. Doesn't matter whether you go over or under on the first one, just so that from that point on, you're going to do the same thing. And it's just like weaving in construction paper mat or something. And so you can see this is quite a time-consuming process. Going back and forth on each one of these. And so we're going to have to do that 19 times. Gina's Nimble's fingers are much faster at doing the cross strings than mine are. So we're down to the last cross. Get through here, kind of go over top. Okay, now I need to find a place to tie it off. Looks like this is a nice wide one. So I brought this through. And there's a good double knot on here. Then we'll trim off the extra string and release the clamps. We are completed with our stringing part of this. We've got it strung with Kevlar string on a head racket using our Ignis machine. Thanks to Gina for helping me out with that and doing a lot of, she does most of the stringing for us. We have 2 steps left. We want to put this back on and we want to paint it. The last step is to paint the racket. So come on down here. This is a head racket, so I have a head stencil. And I put it on here, center it up. There's a dot there. Put in the middle down here. Right, to indicate, you know, where I should put the paint. You buy the paint special from the tennis companies, from Head or from one of the other companies that you're buying rackets from. Most of the stuff I buy is from Head. And so, there you go. Okay, that's one's on there. Then I flip it over and flip this over. Do the same thing as soon as that dries. Put this on, run that through, and it'll set just like that, and it'll be ready to go. So a lot of people play tennis or badminton or racquetball. They use rackets all the time, but they usually don't think too much about the strings. In fact, most people use inexpensive rackets, and when the strings break, they just throw it away and buy a new racket. But you can make your rackets go a long way, or you can buy a high quality racket like this one and just keep restringing it and using it for a really, really long time. A fairly inexpensive way of keeping your rackets in good shape. So this is Mark Felderman, and this has been How to String a Tennis Racket.